I heard there's a city called Denver, and if there's going to be a kollel opening up in Denver one day, that's a place I would go to.
Why am I doing this? Why am I leaving my friends? Why am I leaving my family? Why am I going out to, an out-of-town community? But after a lot of, support from friends and teachers and family, we felt like this was a good opportunity to step into. Being from the East Coast, I didn't really know much about the Wild West, but certainly it sounded intriguing, and I met with Rabbi Schwab, who was to become my partner, and then eventually we came out here and checked it out, and the rest, I guess you could say, is history.
There's one individual that I said I am going to Denver with, and that is Rabbi Amsel. I assume Rabbi Amsel said the same, and that's really where a whole new group had to be redeveloped and put together with a lot of efforts, with God's help, and thank God we made it here.
I remember my wife and I went out to Stapleton Airport. At that time you could still go out to where everybody landed, and we danced right there in the center. Everyone, there were about 10 or 12 of us that came from Aish, and we just had this big dancing party.
Every individual Jew is deeply connected to the Torah, whether he knows it or not. And therefore, when we're able to expose a Jew to Torah, then we're exposing him to something like a long-lost friend.
The concept of the kollel dates back to 18th century Eastern Europe and the great Torah institutions and yeshivas which thrived until their destruction in World War II. Decades later, the kollel experienced a rebirth on the east coast of America, and over the last 20 years has spread to more than 20 cities nationwide, including here in Denver.
We have a statement in our daily prayers that Lil knows Olame, to learn and to teach. And so we have what I call in-reach. We have a dedicated community of people who are dedicated to that particular ideal Jewish education.
Being the rabbi of a shul and an outreach center that has a lot of people coming in at the beginner level, intermediate level, and through the learning that they've done with us, the kollel provides them with an opportunity to take their learning a step further, to grow to greater heights.
Most of the secular world understands the value of think tanks. The kollel is our Jewish think tank.
From day one, we were committed to finding ways to, besides inviting people to come to our home base, which we always do, but also to bring Torah to them, to places where they are, whether it's on the east side of town, whether it's on the southeast side of town, whether it's in Boulder or other areas in the Denver metro area. We've been giving classes and bringing all sorts of different kinds of Torah study programs to all over.
I first got involved in the kollel not too long after it came to Denver. It had a number of programs then. It's exponentially increased over that time, reaching far greater numbers of Jews and getting them more involved in their Torah study.
It gives me a better ability to analyze situations in my life through knowledge that we learn in the Torah.
Kollel has broadened my horizons, has allowed me to bring Jewish law, Jewish traditions back into my life on a personal level as well as a business level.
A Jew is a Jew to the kollel rabbis, and every day these rabbis reach out to people who are different from them, and that is a very hard thing to do.
I've seen numerous families that they knew they were Jewish. With the advent of the kollel coming to town, they were open enough to go to one learning session. And in the process of going to that learning session, they came to 10 more. And in the process, they brought in other people.
It's like a ripple in a pool throwing a stone in. At the very least, the Torah scholars are a source of inspiration and an example, and role model for others.
Between our parents' generation and my generation, we reached the bottom of Jewish learning and started bouncing up. so that I would say that all of our children are more knowledgeable, more observant, and more integrated Jewishly.
It was just a wonderful, wonderful series of lunches. Fascinated, and me included, with really exploring topics that on the one hand have been around for thousands of years, and on the other hand were completely relevant to the very real world.
The opportunity to have a structure in which to evaluate one's behavior has been very useful for me and informative and information that I then pass on.
The main thing from my point of view that the Kollel has brought to the community is a resource of informed students of Torah.
One of the most wonderful things about learning at the Kollel and the various other places we learn in part inspired by the Kollel is to wake up on Saturday morning or Sunday morning for maybe sleeping in a little and hear the kids taking out their toy Torahs and the sitters and their Talit Katans, right, and their kippahs, and hear them playing davening.
When I walk out of the Kollel, I feel like the Talmud study that I've had the good fortune to do thanks to the Kollel puts a lot of that in perspective. I get a sense more of really what's important in life and things, priorities that don't really change necessarily over time, that can really help center me in my life.
I think that it's important for my dad to learn so he can teach me Torah.
In the next 10 years, let's hope that we can reach more and more of the 85,000 Jews here in Denver.
I was told that they would help us learn. I never knew that they'd become friends, our personal friends.
But you get around the Kollel and you see them, you meet their wives and their kids, and you spend a Shabbaton with them, and you find that these are just fun guys, and they can relate to you, and so when they relate to you, you also can relate to them.
The Kollel has reached out to so many different people on so many different levels, using their scholarship and their hearts.
In the case of the Kollel, it enables a whole community to come inside, whether they come inside and learn or whether they come inside by giving their resources of time and connecting other people.
The Kollel is basically the farmer. They're really the ones planting those seeds.
Many members of the Jewish community at large in Denver have had learning experiences that they could not possibly have otherwise been exposed to.
It's like having Harvard in Denver. It's such an amazing thing to have an elite educational institution in this city, and the Kollel is 100% that.
People used to ask me, what's a Kollel? Nowadays I don't need to have to explain that so much because the buzz is out there.
Now their kite is out there flying high, and it's just nice to look from afar and admire it.